Allegiance and the opening prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We pray. Holy Lord God, this past Saturday was a terrible day in our country in so many ways. Once again, the evil that exists in human hearts inflicted violence on other people. We pray your healing power, your strength and comfort be with Donald and the others who were injured. We lift up the family and friends of the one who was killed, that you would walk alongside them through the valley of the shadow of death. We thank and praise you, Lord, for the bravery of those who serve you by serving our country and communities in the military, the Secret Service, and our local law enforcement. In Christ-like fashion, they put their own lives on the line for the sake of our lives. Bless them, Lord. And for Joe, we commend him into your loving hands, that you would bless him in every need, especially now as this tragedy unfolds before our nation. And for the shooter, who has already come before your judgment seat, there are no prayers left to pray, but for his family and those close to him, may you reach into their hearts with your mercy and grace. Grant that each of us would reflect on our treatment of others, particularly those who are different, marginalized, or those our society considers undesirable. Grant that each of us would be aware of those who are suffering mentally or emotionally and seek to be your hands of mercy and comfort to them, that we might play some small role in preventing tragic events such as this one. Finally, Lord, we pray that this horrible event would remind all of us of the responsibility that we have to speak appropriately to those around us, especially when they are those with whom we disagree, realizing that our words are powerful, either for doing harm or for doing good. Grant that we here in Kewaunee County, through our words and actions and our dealings with one another, would be a beacon of light in a world that is filled with so much darkness. We pray all of this in the name of Jesus, who can truly grant healing and unity. Amen. Would look for a motion on the pads for approval of the county board agenda. I have a motion by Supervisor Swagel. I have a second by Supervisor Shelton. Is there any discussion of that motion? You may register your vote. Supervisor Brown? Technical difficulties. Who is that made a comment about these pads supposed to speed things up? I heard that. Or nobody wants to volunteer. All right, I have 16 yes, none opposed, one abstain. One abstain? Oh, yes, of course. Okay. So, motion passes, motion carries. The agenda is approved. Do I have a motion registered on the pads to approve the previous county board meetings? I have a motion by Supervisor Baker. I have a second by Supervisor Kroll. Is there discussion of that motion? Very well. If barring technical difficulties, you may register your vote on the pads. I don't know about who made that comment, but I think these pads speed things up remarkably. I have 16 yes, none opposed. Motion carries. All right, citizens input. None? Does anyone wish to speak to the board? Does anyone wish to speak? Does anyone wish to speak to the board? All right, moving on. I have a list of appointments there, and if there are no objections from any of the board members, I'm going to take these appointments all together. That's acceptable. I don't see any objections. Do I have a motion? I do. Supervisor Vollenweider and a second by Supervisor Lazansky to approve these appointments. Is there any discussion on the motion? Very well. You may register your vote. I have 16 yes, none opposed. Motion carries. And now we need to take a public service break and swear in our newest supervisor, Supervisor Ortlieb. Congratulations on your appointment to the board. Thank you for your willingness to serve, Supervisor Ortlieb. I am pronouncing your last name correctly. All right, very good. Welcome aboard. We will move on to annual reports and other reports as requested. That takes us to Kewaunee County Administrator, Mr. Kroll, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I just have a brief report for you this evening. We recently had a safe and well-attended county fair that got a lot of people out to celebrate and enjoy the community and see one another. We always appreciate having that opportunity. I wanted to advise the board that the broadband subcommittee has been reestablished and met recently and may well be bringing recommendations forward in the near future to continue building out internet access in those areas of the county that don't currently have fiber or other high-speed options. I wanted to share with the board that Commissioner Marty Tremmel has joined our highway department officially and formally, hit the ground running and working with the team out there to really get familiar, and we'll be also bringing forward some big goings on from the highway department in the near future. We have solid staffing right now in the county. Hiring conditions seem to be more favorable than last year. We still are having occasional challenges, a couple of positions that are tough to fill, but not widespread vacancies and not serious turnover rates. We did start the budget process in earnest today. The board probably knows that department heads, myself and Paul are never not in budget mode, but we are in beginning our preparations to build and bring forward the 2025 budget for the board. As started today with Paul sending out department heads information that will let them go through their department level budgeting, which then comes to Paul and I for review and assembly to bring back to you all. And finally, right along with that budget process piece, the police professionals union has notified us that they would like to reopen the contract, and those negotiations will begin soon. Contract expires the end of this year, and we anticipate having resolution on that in time to vote for the 2025 budget, so that those two things continue to stay linked. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Mr. Kroll? All right, very well. We will move on to committee reports. Are there any questions on any of the committee reports that you have reviewed? Supervisor Teske.
On the public safety and justice minutes from May 15th, on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth page, the second paragraph down where it says, it starts with Scott Brown. And it's in regard to that $4,000 that we approved last month for the wellness of the staff in the sheriff's department. It says here, Scott Brown asked if there was money in the current budget to support the counseling, and Sheriff Joski stated $4,000 each every year is put into the budget for it. So if $4,000 was put in this budget, why did we give them another $4,000?
Supervisor Baker? You want to turn on your microphone, please? Thank you.
I do not know.
Okay, there's your answer. Sorry. Supervisor Brown, you have one?
Well, yeah, if I recall, there was money put into the budget if they have an incident, that money is there. If they want to seek, like, say there was a shooting or something. If I remember right, don't quote me on it. But I believe that he was asking for another 4,000 because he wants to run the entire department just to go in and see a counselor. I
Let's-
believe annually.
Let's
So-
see if we can get
Hey,
something
right
a
there's
little
the guy.
more.
So then in other words, instead of $4,000 in the budget, now it's gonna be $8,000 in the budget every year?
Let's let the chief deputy speak to it.
We have $4,000.
Okay, here we go. Green means go. You're a traffic officer, you know that.
Our budget has $4,000 for employee wellness. One of the things we have used that for in the past is employee wellness check-ins. That's what we asked for this money to be used for, is just the wellness check-ins. In addition to the wellness check-ins, now we have $8,000 that we can use for employee wellness. Are we gonna use that? Probably not all of it, because the 4,000 offsets it. The employee wellness that we just got okayed was for every officer to meet with someone. And the 4,000 that we have in it will be used for if there's any follow-up visits or if anything serious happens. We frequently have officers go and meet with someone if they're involved in a very egregious event. Something like a suicide in front of kids or something like that. So that's what the additional 4,000 that we originally had in the budget will be used for.
So you're gonna use the opioid $4,000 first, is that what you're saying?
For kind of different things. We're gonna use that just for a check-in for all of the officers in our department. So
But-
that will be used up for sure, yes. The other 4,000 might not, maybe we won't use any of it, maybe we'll use all of it. It kind of depends.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, Supervisor Swaggle? Could you pull that mic down towards you a little bit?
Excellent,
Thank you.
Okay, we were in the study for the jail, but there wasn't even time, or at the safety committees, has any costs for a roof, for the jail cells, for the doors, have any costs? And they've always, Sheriff Joski's been saying that string, whatever, won't deal with us. Well, how do we proceed if they won't give us any numbers? I mean,
What-
how do you make them give us numbers?
Why don't we just have you stay up here for the rest of the meeting?
So we need numbers.
Stronghold had different priority lists that we got from Nancy at the state. And that was things that had to be done now, irregardless of if we move forward or not. We have estimates on those, and we're waiting for Stronghold basically to come and do them. Those things include the Huber facility and having some things replaced inside the Huber facility and the front door that needs to be replaced. Whether we move forward or not, we have to get those things done.
Excellent.
Then the next level is Nancy said, if you're not gonna be moving forward with a new jail, I'm gonna make you do other things, like the roof and the ceiling is gonna have to be a security ceiling.
Yes.
She had some other things in there. That Stronghold came and they took a bunch of notes. They were there all day long, pictures. We don't have an estimate back on that yet. They only gave us an estimate on the things that we want immediately fixed. We believe the reason that they haven't fixed anything yet is because they have 4 projects we're aware of in the state of Wisconsin that Stronghold's working on. And those are large projects and ours are extremely small when you look at, a few things in the Huber room. So we're moving forward with them on the things that need to get done, and they're getting estimates on the others. There are other companies we could reach out to, but they're kind of the standard that would work on the company that would work on things at our level.
Would you need strong hand, or however you said that, if I said it incorrectly, for the roof also?
No, I think they'll move forward with it, but we're telling them we're not gonna get it fixed right now anyway. So they're not in a big hurry to get us that estimate.
Do we need that estimate from Strong Hand for the roof? Does that have to be with them also? That's not a jail cell door lock. That's not security.
Yeah. Everything within the jail is from Stronghold. I don't
Okay.
think we've bid out the roof yet.
Okay. But if we don't have all those numbers, how can we be talking with the owner's rep and all those other things for situations, for comparisons?
Because those issues are separate. I mean, the decision to make repairs versus going ahead with a new project, the direction previously, the general consensus has been that we should be pursuing information on a new jail.
Correct, but as we've stated, if we can't staff new jail, we need to maintain, fix, repair our present and make it work with our housing prisoners out of in other counties where we have to, because of the cost of maintenance, approximate maintenance and running and operational costs for the new jail exceeds housing prisoners in other counties by a lot. Several times over, of course. So we need numbers. Thank you, though. If we can't get them, we must continue to work on them somehow, some way. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Don't
Thank
go
you. Thank you.
far. Other questions on any of the other minutes that you have reviewed? All right, very well. We'll go on to first reading of ordinance. We have none, so we would go on to consideration of resolution. Are we prepared for the first?
A resolution authorizing Kewaunee County to enter into the settlement agreement with the Kroger Company and agree to the terms of addendum 2 to the MOU allocating settlement proceeds. Fiscal impact is unknown amount of settlement to be spent later on authorized expenditures.
Is there a motion on your pads? Motion by Supervisor Romden, second by Supervisor Shelton. Is there discussion of the motion? Any questions? Yes, Supervisor Swaggle, please.
So we don't know a number, what the settlement could be or should be or will be?
Mr. Depot?
Correct. We don't have a solid number at this point. It will be a percentage of whatever the award is divided out amongst the counties. So 30% to the state, 70% to municipalities, and of that, we will get a percentage as well. So we know the percentage breakdown. We don't know what the total amount will be.
So we're accepting funds.
Well, no, not exactly. We're accepting the
Settlement.
moving forward with the settlement. So yes and no. It's not like a grant award resolution. This is a settlement in a lawsuit. So we're agreeing to the terms of the settlement as stated through, I don't know if you look through the resolution, but there's a whole bunch of links that have information as far as how they got there, what the numbers are, what the percentages are for each municipality. It's pretty similar to what the other resolutions in this of this type were. But that is what we're actually accepting.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions? Any other discussion? All right, you may register your vote on the pads. I have 17 yes, none opposed. Motion carries. Whenever you're ready for the next one.
A resolution authorizing entering into a contract with Cadence Consulting LLC. Fiscal impact funds are already budgeted in the new jail capital project fund.
Okay, so this Supervisor Romden, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, based on the discussions that were held at the jail study committee meeting prior to the county board coming into session, I would make a recommendation that any action on this resolution be held over till the August meeting.
Okay,
The reason for that is that will provide the jail study committee and the county board an opportunity to actually review the proposed contract.
correct. The discussion, there was much discussion, and we'll have discussion here now, shortly. There was much discussion on this, resolution. Good, helpful discussion. However, as far as making a recommendation and us taking action tonight, it was felt that the, contract, Mr. Depo can speak to that if you wish, but the contract was not included in the packet. So, it was basically the feeling of the committee that we shouldn't approve or disapprove a contract that we haven't read. Does that make sense? Okay. Anybody in disagreement with that? What is Mr. Depo, what's the procedure for withdrawing this? Do I need a motion on that to table? We could have a motion to table it. Yeah, you want to, Supervisor Vollenweider, you want to?
Has Corporation Counsel reviewed the contract, however?
I have. So I've been in contact with Michael Hacker from Cadence. He and I and Jeremy have worked through the terms of the contract. There are, when I say substantially similar form, I mean, there's a little bit of missing information. Where notices would be sent, a line about how we negotiate a certain part of it. So there's a few minor tweaks that we would make. The price per hour, things like that, what his responsibilities would be under the contract, those I don't anticipate changing at all. But before the board would vote on it, I agree, makes sense to have a chance to take.
It certainly makes sense. I was just wanted to clarify that when we
So-
do review it, that we are aware that Corporation Counsel is okay with
Absolutely.
this.
So what I'm looking for now on the pads would be a motion to table it until August. Yes, Supervisor Teske, you make that motion?
No.
Oh.
I just have a question as to where is this company from?
Well, we're going to talk, I'm going to have him up here shortly and we're
Oh,
going to
okay.
have discussion, but I want to do some housekeeping here first and have this, I want a motion to table this until August. Somebody wants to make that, oh, there we are. I glanced up. Motion by Supervisor Vollenweider, second by Supervisor Poppy. So is there any discussion of the motion to table until August? Very well. You may register your vote on the pads. And I have 17 yes, none opposed. The motion is tabled until the August board meeting. So at this time, though, since Mr. Cadence or Mr. Hacker, I should say, is here, why don't we have him come up and he can describe, because most of the board has not had the benefit of the hours-long discussions that the jail study committee has had, and kind of describe what you would be doing, what your role would be, and tell us where we're at in this project.
Broken one. All right, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Good evening, Mike. Name is Michael Hacker. I'm with Cadence Consulting. I'm a owner's rep, licensed architect by background. I've spent 20+ years in Wisconsin municipal projects, exactly like this. I've done a lot of public safety, school district kind of work all in this realm. Cadence Consulting provides owner's rep services to various size projects throughout the state of Wisconsin, doing exactly what you guys are working through right now. Every project's a little bit different, come on at different points along the way. Sometimes it's at the very early onset. Other times it's not until construction is underway. It just depends on the project and the needs of the client. As an owner's rep, I, in the name, represent the owner. And so our firm provides a range of services within that. And so at different phases, again, that means something slightly different. So at times it means that we're putting together RFPs and distributing those, summarizing those, supporting a client and negotiating agreements with those vendors, holding those vendors accountable based on contracts as well as their invoicing that comes in. Although at this phase of the project where we are now, a lot of this role really is focused on supporting the county and making some big decisions that are looming out there. Right? Obviously where we've been on the project to date, as well as some of the key decisions in order to decide whether or not to proceed. And if so, how and what that looks like. Cadence has no vested interest in the direct outcome or what the next steps might be in the project. Really, we're here just to support with our expertise in the industry, both in working with architects as well as procuring contractors, the different delivery models, whether it's construction manager or competitively bidding those projects, and would work alongside the county staff and leadership to support whatever the right next steps are. And in this agreement, really what Cadence has proposed is to work at the direction of the county. So in this first phase, it's really to look at what are the decisions we need to make and what information do we need to make those and bring those forth and support the leadership in taking action. And so I'm more than happy to answer any questions. The one that was offered up earlier, we're based out of Milwaukee. But with that noted, serve clients all over. I was in Two Rivers earlier today. So it just really depends on the client.
Gonna be able to get back into Milwaukee tonight?
It's gonna be touch and go. There's a lot going on if you haven't heard in Milwaukee this week.
Yeah, I've heard
So,
they got something going
yeah.
on down there now. Other questions for Mr. Hacker? None, really? Can't be. Yeah, gonna say Supervisor Swaggle, surely you have something to.
Thank you, Chairman. I don't want to make this sound totally irresponsible and totally wrong or inappropriate, but of course you're saying, sir, that you're here to serve us at our direction. But if you're not serving us, if we don't have you here, you're not getting paid. So your company would want to be here as long as you could and see the fruition of building a new jail, a new facility.
I wouldn't see anything offensive in that question.
Thank you.
Without a doubt, yeah. Owning and running a business is about finding business, right? And finding relations and in the end, providing a service. And most clients, if they didn't need an owner's rep, they'd be proceeding with the project without an owner's rep. And it's just those that decide this is a service that would add value or add depth or add expertise, whatever that is. And again, to every client, that's a little bit different. Some clients have the expertise, they just don't have the time to manage a project. Other clients have the time, but they don't have the expertise. And our role is really fill the gap wherever that is for the client and the project. And so, yes, taking action on hiring Cadence, certainly that's what we're here to represent Cadence if we're the right partner and in the right fit. My reference though earlier was to any assumption or any notion that might be out there that we're only here to drive towards a specific outcome. And that's not the case.
And in the end, any of these contractors, their business is only as good as their reputation. And you guys, everybody recalls that it wasn't too long ago that we hired another outside firm. What was that, PAA or hiring the administrator? What were their initials again? PAA. Anyway, I've been contacted since by other counties inquiring as to how satisfied we were with their services. So, any business is as good as consulting business is only going to be as good as the references that they have. So I do think there's some incentive to get things to a successful conclusion.
Yep. Especially in the public sector, because everything we do is transparent. Everything we do is like this on recorded and interactive. And so if we don't do a good job, that shadow follows us. So we're here to serve and would be honored to do so if elected to proceed.
And for the record, if anybody from PAA is tuning in, I did give them a very positive recommendation. We were very satisfied. Any other questions for any other questions? As long as while we have Mr. Hacker here from Cadence, there's been the committee, I guess, and maybe Supervisor Poppy will want to weigh in on this, or Supervisor Baker or others. Committee has kind of been wrestling with where do we go with all of this. One of the things that Mr. Hacker suggested to us, in the previous meeting was, assessing where things would be with the other project. Was it, is there any way to, are we starting over? Are we getting in a cost estimator? There's a lot of different aspects to this, but then of course, in the midst of all of it, there is the discussion on staffing that has come up. And that's a concern too. So, all right. No other, yeah, Supervisor Ortley.
Do you handle the bid process for the project too?
Yeah, so it would depend, a very good question. So the question was, would Cadence handle the bidding process? So it would really depend on which construction delivery method the county chose to proceed forward with. So the prior effort went forward with a construction manager. So when hiring a construction manager, it's really built into their services to manage that because they ultimately hold the contract with all those sub vendors. If the county were to elect this time to competitively bid that to a series of general contractors, Cadence would administer and facilitate that process alongside the architectural partner. And then from there, Cadence doesn't hold any subcontracts with any of those construction vendors. Okay, so the county would be entering into direct contract with a general contractor or a construction manager.
Supervisor Brown.
But you would be overseeing that work is being fulfilled under those contracts?
Correct. Yep. So Cadence, so we don't stamp drawings. We're not your architect of record. With that said, though, we would support the county in ensuring that what was built and how it was built and how the budget was managed over the course of that is all in alignment with all the contracts that are in place.
Others? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
We will move on then to the next resolution.
A resolution accepting the award of $40,000 of immunization COVID-19 supplement for grant funding and approving the use of the grant and ARPA funds to purchase an electronic health record system. Fiscal impact statement, increasing grant revenue of $40,000 and expenditures of $40,000.
Motion has been made by Supervisor Vollenweider and seconded by Supervisor Romden. Is there any discussion on this motion? Supervisor Swagel.
For other members of the board that aren't on the Public Health Department, could Cindy explain a little bit about this? Would that be possible? Thank you. Unless I should have said Public Health Nurse Cindy or Director of Health Cindy. Thank you.
This one.
There we go.
All right, here we go. Hi, everybody. So what we're looking to do is purchase what's called an electronic health record system. That system will not only allow us to keep electronic records in our office, which we do not do right now, with the exception of the state programs that we have available to us, but in addition will allow us to do billing for vaccination. And with COVID no longer free, what we found out last year is that it's really hard to bill. We do not have a billing specialist in our office, and the county doesn't actually have a billing specialist or a billing department specifically either. So it is very time consuming to go through and get the contracts needed with each individual insurance company to do that billing. We have succeeded in getting a few of those contracts, but not all the ones that we need. And the new system that we're looking at will interface with our Wisconsin Immunization Registry. It will allow us to pull up the person, enter their forms automatically, so we won't have to do the data entry that we do right now with the immunization program. It will do that for us, and then it will hold those till like the end of the day. And with a click of a button, it will do the billing for us. It provides us with all the billing equipment that we need, the scanners, that type of thing, and is supposed to just really streamline the whole system. In addition, they do the contracting for us with the individual companies. So all we have to do is use their clearinghouse to do that billing, which will be a huge time-saving system for us. Questions?
Will there be any maintenance cost once this is put in place?
So our contract will be for 5 years, and 100% of it is covered by the grant that I have, with a little bit of additional grant funding that I have already in my agency. And then they do all of the maintenance, and they have a designated person within their agency that will follow us for that. So it will not be anything in addition for IT here.
Super. Supervisor Shelton?
And my understanding is that this isn't just for the COVID vaccines, but there's also a whole other slew of.
Yeah, it will do
Vaccines.
all of our vaccines. And then in addition, if we choose to look into it, we can do further billing such as say lead testing for our kids that go through the lead poisoning. We would be able to do any kind of billing that we needed to for our agency for anything that requires costs on our part.
Any other questions? All right, very well, thank you. You may register your vote. Yes. I don't see any. Okay. Supervisor Swaggle?
Oh, sorry.
There we go. 17 yes, none opposed. Motion carries. Whenever you're ready for the next resolution.
A resolution designating the Kewaunee County Sheriff's Department Communications Center as the public safety answering point for Kewaunee County.
I have a motion by Supervisor Baker and a second by Supervisor Romden. Are there any questions on this motion? Any discussion? Very well. Oh, sorry, Supervisor Shelton.
So at the public safety meeting, I thought that we had we inserted the word current into the current communication center. And
Supervisor Baker, is that correct?
It is.
So,
Dave, or
Mr.
council get
Depo?
that or not?
So. Yeah, so the packets already went out. I guess if the board wants to make a change to the resolution, they
Could amend
can
it.
move to amend it and make that change.
If you want to amend it, you see the button on your screen. Okay, there's a
Corporation
motion.
Council, just to ask a question for
Hold on.
clarification.
Hold on, motion to amend by Supervisor Baker and a second by Supervisor Ortlieb. Okay, now,
So Robert's rules, would the person initiating the motion have to rescind their motion or amend their motion, or can anyone amend the motion? When you have a motion and a second, do you not have to vote on that? There's a motion and a second on the floor originally.
If there's a motion and a second and we're going to amend, then yes, you'd have to walk it back and we could make the amendment after that. So we could rescind the motion in the second and amend
We
it
can't-
prior to voting.
Thank you for clarification. If we
We-
could proceed that way, Mr. Chair.
we can't just go to the amendment.
No. No, I would, but you had a second on it. So the person who seconded it would have to rescind that second.
But if there's a motion to amend, you don't simply discuss and vote on the motion to amend, then go back.
I think you're correct. What I understand from Robert's Rules of Orders from back in the FFA many, many moons ago.
Well, I
You
mean,
make the motion, then you can amend
if
it.
the FFA version of
Well,
Robert's Rules
excuse
of
me,
Order
Robert's
can't be
Rules of Orders,
trusted,
we had
I
probably the
mean-
same book, of course, sir. I mean, we went through Robert's Rules of Orders training. then.
I guess,
I'll
at
make
the
it
end of the
easy.
day, at
Yep.
the end of the day, I'm gonna rule this way. At the end of the day, Corporation Counsel is our parliamentarian, so what he says, the direction he says we need to go is what we'll do,
Thank you.
whether he's right or not.
So I would say this, as far as Robert's rules go, as long as the board understands what you're doing going forward, the formality part of it is less important, but you have to make sure everybody understands and that we go through the process so that everybody understands what motion is being made and what you're voting on.
Okay, so we can
That's
just,
what's really important.
so we can discuss
So-
this amendment and then vote on the amendment now?
If there is an amendment made, yes,
There
we
has
can
been.
discuss it, and as long as everybody understands what the amendment is and what they're voting on, then there's no issue with going.
An
forward.
amendment has been made and it has been seconded. I would need Supervisor Baker to clarify what his amendment is.
I don't have the copy, but it was to specifically say our current dispatch center would be the public PSAP. I forget what
So,
that's-
so Mr. Depo would need to tell us, or somebody would need to tell us where that word is being, what line? We will need that. Supervisor Teske, you usually have this stuff right there at the tips of your fingers.
I would put it where it says, now therefore be it resolved. And after July 2024, I would say that that the current
Okay,
Kewaunee
what
County
line
Sheriff's
is- what
Department
line is that?
Communications.
What line is that?
Line 14.
Line 14. Okay, so Supervisor Baker's amendment is to state in line 14 of the resolution, current. Is
Correct.
that correct?
That is correct.
And the clerk, I'm clear enough? You got it? Okay. Is there discussion on that amendment?
Question.
Supervisor Robden?
Should that be also then be at the top of the resolution? Shouldn't it say designating the current Kewaunee County Sheriff's Department?
The title really doesn't control. So
Alright.
whatever you
Just a
have after the
question.
therefore is
Thank you.
sufficient.
Titles are just teases to pull you into the inspiring information that follows. All right. It's like movie titles. Okay. We're ready. Any more discussion on the amendment? We're going to vote on the amendment, then we'll go back to the motion. You may register your vote on the amendment.
I like that.
Okay, so Supervisor Brown. There we go. I have 17 yes, none opposed. The amendment is approved. Now, when the clerk is ready, we will return to the motion itself. Is there any discussion on that original motion at this time? The motion, we would be returning to the original motion as amended. Yes, right. No. No, because they were approved. Okay, so now, since I see no discussion, you may move to vote. I have 17 yes, none opposed. The motion carries as amended. Glad we got through that. All right. Now, consideration of ordinance read at previous county board meeting. We have none. Communications. Resolutions from other counties. Okay, Kewaunee County events. Yes, Supervisor Lazansky.
So I'm inviting you all to attend on Saturday, along with me and Gary Poppy, most likely. The Alumni Fest is putting on a summer bash at Lake Haven Hall. So it'll be a polka band followed by a rock band from noon to 8. It's free admission. Last year, we were able to raise enough money to donate to Kewaunee area scholarships, the Pierhead Lighthouse, and we donated a bench by the Wildflower. So come on down and have a good time.
All right. Polka band followed by a rock band. There are so many jokes coming to mind, but I'm gonna keep them to myself because I might get stoned in this area. All right, other events? Supervisor Swaggle.
I'm not sure because I was given different dates. I know that Algoma has their parade and all that. Could someone from Algoma clarify exactly when their parade and festival is?
Anybody from Algoma have a parade date?
Shanty days, yes, sir.
Okay, the people from Algoma don't have a clue.
'Cause I was told 17th.
August 10th.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm speaking specifically to the date of the fair, Supervisor Vollenweider. I see where you're going. All right, other events. Okay, I have comments tonight, and that is, I sent you an email politely requesting that we fill some appointments, some committees that need to be filled due to Supervisor Haskey's death. I still have Violence Intervention Project and Lakeshore CAP. I messed up. I thought I had was putting Supervisor Ortlieb on Lakeshore CAP, but I messed up on that. So those people are going to be unhappy with me. They'll have to wait till August, but I really do need these filled. I know, some of you have lots going on, it's farming time and some of you are starting new businesses and all of this, things going on, but surely there are some who can help me out on these appointments. I need someone to fill Lakeshore Cap. Can somebody tell me, or the clerk maybe knows how much? I don't think it's a real large time commitment on Lakeshore Cap. How frequently do they meet? Okay, we don't know, but volunteer first, find out later, huh? VIP, yes, Supervisor Lazansky?
Oh, I'm getting ahead of you. I wanted to speak a little bit about VIP. I am the
Okay.
president of Violence Intervention Project. And I just want to let you know, whoever, we do need another board member.
Yes, we
We
do.
need other board members, but we need a board member coming from the county board. It is a fair amount of work. The regular meetings are 1.5 to 2 hours, sometimes even longer. Outside of that, you're on a couple of subcommittees. Keep in mind, you don't get paid for your subcommittees, but I will tell you that this is the most rewarding board that I'm on because of the work we do, and it's very satisfying, but it is a fair amount of work. So I don't want, I don't think, like, if you just have an hour or two at a time, it's a fair commitment. So you have to want to do this work. So it's, if you want to speak to me more about it, you can.
No, see,
Thank you.
that's much different than the way that I was going to advertise it. Um, I think my approach might have been more effective. Okay. But in all seriousness, I do need to fill those two positions. So Lakeshore Cap and VIP. Oh, and there is a website that you can go to for Lakeshore Cap, find out more about that, but I need to know prior to the next board meeting, we have to fill these appointments. So please, yes, Supervisor Swaggle, you want them both?
Could you said go to a website, but could you explain this evening what Lakeshore Cap includes? Any overview or anything?
Well, the person to do that would be Supervisor Haskey, which isn't going to be
She's busy.
possible.
She's busy
So,
right now.
yes, so, it's a nonprofit community action agency that provides services in Kewaunee County. They are required by statute to have elected officials serve on their board. I do not believe that they meet that frequently. Does the administrator have any input on this?
I can't speak directly to how frequently they meet. But I know that
Not
the
regular.
primary function of CAP programs is to basically organize around programming for people who are less fortunate, and programs that help build bridges out of poverty and help people enhance their earning potential, among other things. So it's human services adjacent. And it's in that vein as far as helping people who really could use a hand up.
All right, sir. Put me on that one if there's no one else
Okay.
willing to
We'll have,
serve the people.
what
Like
we're-
I said that.
what we're going to do, Supervisor Swaggle, is I'm going to appoint you immediately so that I can tell this person that contacted me from there that you're appointed, and then I'm going to have you, you will serve on it. You will be that person. And then in the August meeting, clerk she's got out the sticky notes. Good deal. We're going to get you officially approved.
Thank you, sir.
Does anybody expect to have any objections to doing that? I don't think so. And VIP, that one, again, as Supervisor Lazansky said, there is some work to it. However, it is important. I would like to have this filled. Anybody else wish to add anything on VIP to help, okay, sell that any better? All right, so please give these thought. On the police union, I already kind of have a outline in my mind of what I will do on that, and I'll be contacting individuals. And next month, we'll approve. You'll make sure that I don't forget to get you those appointments for that for the next agenda. All right, fabulous. Yes.
I did get a request. Are you asking for gift cards yesterday?
Yes, gift cards. You sent it. You were supposed to give those directly to me, directly. So in the future on the gift cards, in person any requests. So, yeah, and Mr. Loinen is still over here. I don't know that there's any more to tell you other than, you know, these are very public accounts. They are very frequent targets. Some of them are just remarkably, they just look remarkably similar. You know, the only real protection is for you to be astute, to be alert. Anytime there is ever any question at all, call the person that, you know, pick up the phone and make a phone call before you go and send money to Nigeria, ultimately where it goes. So, or donate in person. Please do that when there are, no, I'm gonna make a joke, but I'm thinking, we're recorded. I might have FBI agents waiting at the door for me. All right. We have our next, our August 20th meeting is scheduled. September 17th is scheduled. October 15th would be our next one at 6 PM. If I have a motion for that, is that, we don't need to do that on the pads, or do we? All right. Supervisor Poppy makes the motion. Supervisor Baker seconds the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion for adjournment? Supervisor Vollenweider, he's in a hurry. Second, Supervisor Kroll. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. We're adjourned. Thank